Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you may be watching this webinar from, wherever you may be joining in this webinar from. So it's a pleasure to have you again today. Welcome to the Training Transfer Effectiveness webinar series. Today is Thursday, March 5th, 2026. Welcome. So glad you are here. Welcome. So glad you are here. Of course, our normal way, we get to introduce ourselves. So, just like I said, regardless of anyone coming for the webinar, anyone being in for the webinar, we would always have this webinar. We'll record it and put it on our YouTube channel whereby anybody that couldn't make it, that couldn't join, could watch it. You have the opportunity to watch it on our YouTube channel. And so I know that Benedicta is around. Welcome, Benedicta. It's nice having you here. And for those that may be watching this webinar for the first time, so this is me. I'll just allow this to just show a bit so you can just get it. So this is me. I don't need to talk about myself again. So this is me. So get to know me. And the only thing I want to say is that I'm known as Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. And so I'm an ambassador to saying let organizations show impact, return on expectation, and return on investment on their training return on investment on their training investment. And so for those that are just joining us for the first time, we will say your TTE journey begins. Why for those that have been watching this video, YouTube videos, and you're not joining us for the first time, and you've been joining us, we will say your journey, your TTE journey continues. So what are our objectives for today's webinar? Today's webinar, I decided to look at, okay, let's look at the objectives first, then what our topic is. Our topic for today, I thought I wrote our topic for today. Yes, our topic is there. So what exactly is return on investment? So I promised sometime last month that we'll talk a bit about it. And last year, I think I also said about it. So I decided that today, why don't we just have that conversation, talk about it. What exactly is return on investment? And then talk about the RI methodology by Jack and Patty Phillips. Those that started the methodology, right? So we'll talk about it. So what exactly is ROI? That's what we want to look at today. So what are our objectives? By the end of this webinar, you will be able to explain what ROI means in the context of training. Don't forget, you can calculate ROI on anything. You can calculate ROI on conferences. You can calculate ROI on projects. You can calculate ROI on anything you can think about, right? However, we speak mostly about training. We are really interested on training. What's the ROI of training? What's the um, ROI of the training investment you did? So most of the things, so we are interested in the ROI of training. However, as an organization and as a business, we're also thinking about ROI on conferences because we run conferences, right? So hopefully we will talk about that sometime later. We don't know yet, right? So at the end of this webinar, you will be able to explain what return on investment means in the context of training. Also, you should be able to identify which training program should be selected for ROI analysis. Which of your training programs at what? Because I've heard a lot of HR and L&D say that they feel they should calculate ROI on all their training investment. No, that's not the best practice. It's not even rational. Depending again on maybe an organization that runs just three, even if you have just three training in a year, there are some criteria you should look at before you start saying, let me go as far as ROI for this training investment. So by the end of this webinar, you should be able to identify which of my training programs should be selected for ROI analysis. We're going to look at some things around that. Then Again, you should be able to describe the recommended percentage of training programs to be evaluated at each level of evaluation. At each level of our evaluation. So we have level one, level two, level three, and level four. Then Jack and Patty talked about level five, which is the ROI, right? And I'm interested in ROI. So I sing the song Jack and Patty are singing to. So we have the level one, which is reaction. We have level two, which is learning. We have level three, which is implementation. Kirkpatrick calls it behavior. We have level four, which is impact. Jack calls it impact. Kirkpatrick calls it results. Then Jack and Patty went further to level five, which is return on investment. I am interested in return on investment. And so we are talking about return on investment, right? And so so at the end, you should be able to describe what's the recommended percentage of the training programs to be evaluated at each level of evaluation. So level one, we have the percentage you should evaluate your training up to level one, up to level two, level three, level four, and level five. So we'll look at that. And how are we going to achieve this? This is our roadmap. We're going to be looking at talking about what ROI is, then try to introduce how ROI started, then then take Q&A, then our next line of action. I'm just trying to put all my things together, yeah? And our next line of action, that's our roadmap. I think someone just joined in. I didn't say hello to the person. Hi, Sophia, welcome. Nice joining. Welcome. It's great seeing you join us. And Confidence has also just joined us. Welcome, Confidence. It's great having all of you here today. And we are talking about ROI, return on investment for training. So you're welcome to the party. Okay, so let's move forward. This is what's the word? I can't remember the word to use, but this is what we usually say. Difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. So it's difficult. Like I'm sure if you're hearing me speak, my speech is a bit somehow. How? Because I have a sore my tongue, and so I'm trying to talk without allowing my teeth or my tongue touch the sore in the tongue. So it's difficult for me to talk very well. However, I could as well have said could as well have sent messages that we are not having this webinar and nobody will kill us again because it is our own way of giving back. But however, because we know that some persons will come. See, now Benedicta was here first we have um before we okay, you can see people are joining in. Sophia joined in, then Confidence joined in. Now there's a Judith joining in. So you can imagine if because of the sore and the pain I'm going through, and I decide that, oh, I won't come for this webinar, you'd have just come and you cannot join in. So this is a difficult road for us. For me, it's the pain I'm going through. But I said there are people that are going to come here and there are things they will learn that will help them in their organizations and in their personal life. And that's why I'm here. So same thing with you, depending on where you're joining in from. That's true. We've passed introduction. However, we can still go back to it. Please, if you're joining us in from the first time, just write first timer. Then tell us your name, your role in your organization, and the country you're joining us in from. Just three things. Your name, or we can see your name. So just tell us your role in your organization and the country you're joining in from. Role in your organization, the country you're joining from, and tell us if you're a first timer, because I see some persons that have joined, and I think they look like first timers, right? Yeah, Judy said that she's a first timer. Welcome, Judy. Yeah, I see it. Welcome. So tell us your role in your organization and the country you're joining in from. First timer. Thank you. So difficult roads leads to be, and some of you are just coming back from work. Like I know that Benedicta is just coming back from work because at least Bene joined our mastermind, and I know she usually says this. She's just coming back from work and all that, and yes, she's here. So Sophia says, senior manager, human capital. You're joining from Nigeria, first timer. Welcome. Confidence says, head of HR and admin, Nigeria, first timer. Welcome. There's one checker we used to use to do welcome We used to welcome people. So let me use it to welcome you people. Welcome. Judith says, admin and people manager at Venture Capital Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome. You are at the right place. You're at the right place. So feel free to, Bennett, please introduce yourself. I know Bennett is not a first timer. So at least Bennett, since they have their own introduction there, so that at least they could get to know you, you could put in your name and your role where you're joining us from, Bennett. So difficult roads leads to beautiful destination. However, even with the difficult road, we will get to that destination. That's why we're here tonight. What exactly? So what we decided to do as an organization, training transfer effectiveness is a movement we started, is something we are talking about. And so for first timers, we decided that was last year. We started this webinar January 2025. So Benedicta, L&D manager from Lagos Business School, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, Benedicta. So we decided that every week we come for this webinar, we will talk about what exactly is training transfer effectiveness, because we knew and we found out that during the webinars we had a lot of new people joining, and when we are talking about training transfer effectiveness, TT, and they're just looking, they are lost. So we decided that let's carry everyone along, even though we said, please go back and watch the videos. All our videos, we have over 35 videos. If you watch it, it will help you a whole lot. So we decided to kind of be fair. And so every day, every Thursday when we meet, we talk about what TTE is, training transfer effectiveness. I don't know if Bennett, do you want to tell us, because Benedict has been coming on this and she knows about that. Do you want to share with us? I should just go ahead and tell the new first timers what training transfer effectiveness is. Okay. Okay, so let me start with training effectiveness. What exactly is training effectiveness? Is the extent to which your training is successful in producing the desired result. And I always use the example of if, for instance, you send your people, I'm happy you're all of you are almost all of you are HR managers and admin managers. Now you sent a group of your front desk staff on a training on customer service. And three of the two of the objectives of the learning objective you told the training company that will be training them is, one, at the end of this, we need ensure that nobody scores anything less than 85%. Then secondly, you also told them, I need them to learn how to, there's a template we use to greet people when they come into our organization. I need them to be able to do that. They need to be able to do that. So these were the two learning objectives for the program. And so after the program, they did a post-assessment, post-evaluation, post-assessment, and they scored, maybe there were like 10 of them, and all of them were scoring 90%, 9,500. Then the template of greeting. So for instance, if let me use Sophia and Confidence. So welcome to Sophia Confidence Limited. My name is Judith. How may I help you? That's the way we want them to be greeted. And after that, they tried it post, they were able to do that. Yeah, we got it. We did it. That is what we call training effectiveness. The training has been effective. It has been able to achieve the result why the training was put in place. The next thing is training transfer. It is the extent to which those people, those your customer service front desk people, after the training, they go back to the workflow, go back to the organization. They are able to apply what you've taught them, like the template of greeting. They were able to apply it and use it in the business. That is what we call training transfer. They transferred it. However, what we found out from research and from practice, research and practice. So we work with both research and practice. We do a lot of researches and we practicalize it and use organizations, work with organizations. Now, what we found out is most often people transfer what they've learned. Maybe 3 days later, they stop. 1 week, they are tired, or 1 month, they stop. And it ends there. And when they stop there, most often you cannot see a change. You cannot see a behavioral change. Neither can you see even the impact of that training. So how can you ensure that this doesn't stop? People don't get tired of applying what they've learned. This is how you can do it. Through training transfer effectiveness. So it is the extent to which people are able to apply the knowledge and the skills they got into training. See what I said, consistently, not just apply now, consistently apply it. And how are they able to do that? As a result of intentional structures that were put in place. If you do not put things in place for people to consistently apply, they will not apply. And not just applying, we don't just want application. We want that whatever they're applying should turn into measurable performance improvement. And the business, there should be an impact in the business. So that is what TT is all about. It is the extent to which the knowledge and skills gained from training are consistently applied on the job in a way that leads to measurable performance improvement and business impact with intentional structures in place to sustain the application over time. If there are no intentional structures in place, they you will not be able to sustain the application. It will die. People will get tired, and that's why you see people that they apply, they do something for 1 month and they are tired. So that is what train transfer effectiveness is. I don't know if you have any question. Please, if you have any question, feel free to raise your emoji, your hand, the emoji for hand, raise it up. I'll call you, or you could just unmute your microphone and ask or type it into chat and I'll respond to that. Okay. So let's move ahead. So that is what training transfer effectiveness is. Now let's go into what we have for today, which is return on investment. Now, the origin of the ROI methodology. Now, return on investment, I'm going to tell what it is. However, today I'm looking at Jack and Patty's methodology. And they called it the ROI methodology, return on investment methodology. I'm just going to be brief about that. If you want to know about it, just go online, Google them. You will know so much about Jack and Patty. They've been in this for over 34 years, if I'm not mistaken. For over 30 something years. So Jack started, the first impact study Jack did was in 1973 when he was an HR lead where he was. I think the company asked him to show a return on investment on what he was doing. First of all, Jack's background is engineering, and he started to say, okay, that he was even really interested to be able to show return on investment on what they were asking him on the training and all that. And he had to read up a lot of things. And he found out that some people had started um talking about returns on training, and they had happy sheet, the happy sheet, the surveyed satisfaction and all that. And Jack went full into it to find out, how can I quantify this in money? Don't forget, he's an engineer, so his head is thinking maths, finance, calculation, and with that, Jack was able to come up with the first impact study. He was able to present it at the first conference. He made his first presentation of the methodology in ASTD. That was in 1978. Now it's no more ASTD. It's now called ATD. It's called ATD now. Before it was called ASTD. So that was when he did his presentation about it. And now ROI, Jack's methodology and Patty's methodology, it's widely used by over 14,000 professionals in over 70 countries. Yeah. And I'm privileged. Let me make this, and I think I'm making this announcement for the first time. I am privileged to say that I am now our company, M Brand Consulting Limited, is now a partner with the Return on Investment Institute. And so for Nigeria, we are the international partner for Return on Investment Institute. So we are working hand in hand with Jack and Patty to see how to bring return on investment into. So a lot of organizations will start evaluating their training projects on up to ROI. So it's a thing of joy, and hopefully very soon we'll make that big announcement on our social media. We've signed the partnership agreement, and that's why I'm able to do this and say that I'm able to use their materials, to promote. Thank you, Benedicta. Yeah, Vanessa, well done. Thank you. To be able to promote it. And that's why I'm able to do this, use their materials. We've signed it up. We had the agreement and saying how to, because I've been interested in RI since 2010. Yeah, 2010. I've been on this business of RI and RE. And that's why I was able to develop the models, the operating system we are using to work with businesses now. It's called the Training Transfer Effectiveness Operating System. It's a training design operating system that helps businesses to design training in a way that they will see impact return on expectation and return on investment. And that's why I got interested with Jack. So let me not tell you my story. Let's just continue while we are here. Okay, so what is ROI? Yeah, so what is ROI? ROI, which is return on investment, is a financial metric. Is a financial metric. Your CFOs there, see, HR and L&D, just listen. Your CFOs are very interested in this. When you're talking about training, and you don't mention towards ROI, they don't want to hear. They are interested in the financial metrics. What did we get? You invested last year, 2025. Okay, let me even ask. That's a good one. How many of us here last year? Tell me the volume of the first of all in financial terms and in quantity. So two things. How many trainings did you run last year? What was the financial investment for that training, and what was the return on? How many of them were you able to see return on investment? If you don't want me, because we record this and we put it on YouTube and people go to watch, you can type a message in the chat box. Nobody can see what you're typing. I will pause this recording and we will talk. I can pause this recording after you finish sharing. I'll start the recording again so they're not hearing what you've said. So if you want to share this, because this webinar is for application, is to add value. It doesn't make sense me coming every year, every Thursday, nothing, you're not using it. It doesn't make sense. Neither does it make sense you coming and you're not using and applying it. It's a waste. It's against what we stand for. We stand for application. So I'm going to wait and check the chat box. Is there anybody that is willing to, what's that word? That is willing to say, yes, let me talk, let me share. Because in sharing, you learn. I'm looking at the chat box. If there's nobody, I will continue. Not a problem. If there's nobody, is anybody that is willing? Tell me, even though you don't know everything, because you may not know, just give me an idea. Last year, we ran over like 50 training or 70 training or 100 training. Our training, the investment on those training was about 50 million, 20 million, 100 million. Sandra, sincerely, Oracle, let me tell you the truth. There's none. I cannot tell you that we calculated ROI or any of them, which is fine. And that's why you're here in this webinar to learn. So is there anybody? Anybody? Okay, nobody. Let's continue then. That's fine. So ROI is a financial metric. Okay, we have somebody. Do you want to share it? I see someone's hand. Do you want to share? It's still recording, or should I pause the recording?
So
Should I
no,
Okay,
you
you
can't.
don't.
I can move on. So just I wanted to get more understanding
Okay.
from what you mean by training ROI. Now,
Okay.
the training, what I understand by training ROI, I'm going to speak from my understanding,
Please do.
and
Yeah.
the essence of organizations training its or her employee is to have the investment return on the ability of that employee, on the value the employee brings to the organization. For example, I work with an engineering company in Nigeria, Nigerian foundries precisely. And then we had trainings last year,
Yeah.
quite a number of trainings because of the kind of businesses we're into. We're into iron and steel. So it requires up-to-date, the most updated engineers to work to get results for you. Now, what we see as investment, like returning the benefits to us, we might not really expect it in the financial way, but on the ability, the skills that has been acquired from these trainings, and then being able to implement on their job, thereby the management or the organization sees results, improved results, giving atmosphere for the trained to train. When you are trained, you train the subordinates, and then we keep. So when you look vividly into it, you see that yes, these investments we are not on waste, but we're not getting in returns financially, but we're getting it on skills, acquired skills that the trainees or the employees can pass down to their subordinates to get the organization moving. And then our objective is a business profit in all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Confidence. Thank you so much. So I hear you, and what I hear you say is, since our people are using the skills and we can see them applying those skills and the business is progressing, we are okay with that. We are not looking about maybe we spent 20 million and when we calculated it, we got back 25 million. We got the money and an extra 5 million. We are not interested in that. Is this what I hear you say?
That's what it looks like here. But if we have an idea of where we can as well get them on the experience of the experiences of the job and also get a return on it, that's fine. That'll be fine.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's why you are here today. So one day, so a lot of, how am I going to couch this? We don't want to get to a place whereby as HR and L&D, we don't want to get to a situation whereby we're going to have a CEO or an MD that is very, very interested in ROI. And we've not been doing it because we've had CEOs and MDs are not telling us about it. They're not interested that we show it. We should not sit on our comfort zone. That's what I found out. Because a lot of organizations, especially in Nigeria, a lot of CEOs may not know about show me ROI of it as long as the skills is going, we are getting our revenue and all that. HR and L&D, they are comfortable. But they say one day monkey go market, no go come back. What does that mean? There will be one day you will meet an MD and a CEO that is very, very interested in ROI. What will you do that day? That when that time comes, what will happen? And so why we've been doing this campaign is we are telling HR and L&D this, and HR manager told me, Sandra, my CEO is not interested in just all this area. Just leave it. Don't come and put sansan in my Gary. I just like tell you, one day you will meet a CEO, that will be interested in ROI, and you say, if I knew when Sandra was telling me, I would have listened and I would have learned this. She told me I should not put sansan in her Gary. I should just leave her where she is. So we are saying that the CEO or the organization is moving and not interested in ROI. Every forward-thinking organization, every CFO is interested in returns. Anymore, it's just like you're investing. They want to see it, not just showing that, oh yes, people are using the skills. And so what does that mean? What has it translated? We spent 50 million. You spend 50 million, fine, they are using the skill, but what has that 50 million given us? It's very possible that when you do the ROI and you feel that they are using the skills, that 50 million, you will not be able to see it. So meaning that you did not even break even, not to talk about to get a return on the money you spent. So what we do is we encourage HR and L&D. And that's why we're going to be looking at, you don't need to evaluate ROI in all your training. No, it's not even possible. It's not feasible. There's a percentage. I don't want to jump into that. I'm going into that very soon to show you. We have level 1 data, we have level 2 data, level 3 data, level 4 and level 5 data. So based on those data, that is how you evaluate. ROI is a level 5 data. Okay, let me just say before we get there, for all your training, what is acceptable that you evaluate up to ROI is like 5 to 10% of your whole training. Yeah, 5 to 10%. But before then, we ensure that we are seeing level 1, you're measuring level 1, level 2, level 3. Let me get there so I don't, they're all in my head, but there's a process. I don't want to tell you. Let's get there. So I don't know if this helps you, confidence, if this kind of responded to what you said.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on. So ROI, is the financial metric that describes return on investment for us as HR and L&D. The return on investment in our program. Just like I said before some of you joined in, I said you can calculate ROI on anything. You can calculate ROI on conferences. You can calculate ROI on projects. But for us, HR and L&D, and what we as a business are interested in, ROI on trainings. That is what we preach. That's what we are talking about. So it describes return on investment in that training program. You can see I said process or initiative, telling you that it's not just about the training program. However, we as HRM that we're interested in it in the training program. So what it does is compares the benefit of the investment to the investment itself. You spent 20 million. which is the cost. What was the benefit from that 20 million you spent? Maybe it became 25 million. So extra, you got your cost back and extra 5 million on it. It is the benefit. Meaning, and that's why a lot, or when it comes to project, a lot of people like finding ROI on project to see, is this project visible? And they start with the BCR. I'm sure you all know about BCR, benefit cost ratio. Let's find out the BCR. If you're able to evaluate the BCR, you can also evaluate the ROI to see, should we engage in this project? Governments are very interested in ROI because they're like, should we invest in this? It's the ROI that makes them to know. When they calculate the BCR, they now calculate the ROI. It's what makes them to know, should we even go ahead with this project? They don't see ROI. There's no need of going ahead with the project. We've seen people that have lost businesses because they could not quantify it, they could not evaluate the project up to ROI to show that really there's a return on it. It's a waste of time, waste of money, especially when you have limited resources. Yeah, so let's move forward. So ROI is considered the ultimate measure of program success for a variety of reasons. So if you notice, a lot of people are talking about ROI now. A lot of people are talking about ROI. So I'm going to say there are various reasons. However, I'm going to just take maybe one of those reasons, is that it helps businesses to normalize the benefit of their programs and the cost. So what they do, what Jack's methodology does is compares apple to apple. So that program benefit, he converts it into cash, into money, because it is money you used to it is money you used to function, not to function the program. It was money you used for the program. Let me use that word. You used money for the program. So let's say the money is apple. You need to compare apple with apple. You cannot compare orange with apple. You will not be able to do that. So since we used money for this program, why don't we convert the benefits into money and compare? Did we make any returns? Was there any returns on it? We spent this apple. This is apple we got. Then you can compare. You cannot compare apple and orange. No, no. How do you want to use that? You will use apple to apple, orange to orange. So the one of the reasons that it requires normalizing the program benefits and costs using money so that the two can be compared mathematically. You can call, that's why I just gave you example, apple to apple. And that's why they look at it. This is the economic contribution. So we put in apple, we got benefit of apple. What was the benefit of that apple that we got? Yeah. So the concept of area has been used for centuries. Yeah, it has. And it is a single statistic that been compared to other opportunities inside or outside the company. So there are other evaluation methods, right? People use. However, RIS seem to gain ground. And so even government, the public sector, even the NGOs, they are doing that. They're interested. Let's see, was a payback. So we have payback period for the instead of using ROI. So what was a payback? So that's also something different. So ROI, so there are many metrics that compare the financial benefit on investment to the cost. Those most often used for programs such as L&D, performance improvement, and HR is BCR, which I told you. So BCR and ROI percentage is basically what we use as HR and L&D. That's what most of us use for our training program. So ROI answers a very direct business question. What is that question? Did the financial value created by this initiative, did it exceed the cost of the investment? I'll take that again. Did the financial value of that training investment, did it exceed the cost of the investment? That's the question we should be able to answer, HR and L&D, at every point in time. If it did not exceed, that means we've wasted money. It should either break even or it should exceed, not less than even the cost of the of the program. Okay, myth versus reality. There's a myth. So let me even ask again. The myth around RI in training evaluation. Okay, I think I've already answered my question. Why didn't why didn't I ask this question before answering it? So I wanted to say, do we calculate ROI? So let me still ask. It doesn't matter. Maybe you will not remember. When it comes to ROI, should we calculate ROI on all our training? Should we calculate ROI on all our training? Should we calculate ROI on all our training? You can type into chat box or you can unmute your microphone. Anyone is fine. I will look at it and I'll read. Should we calculate ROI on all our training investments? Okay. I want to believe that you're with me here, even though there's no response. So let's move ahead. Of course, there's a myth around it. So how do we select programs for ROI analysis? So I want to debunk that myth that I hear from a lot of HR and L&D, even CEOs, that they want to see ROI on all the training. Foul. That's the wrong, wrong notion and wrong thought. You are not, even theoretically and practically, you are not advised to calculate around all your training. Do you have the investment to do that? Do you have the resources? Do you have the manpower to do that evaluation up to that level? So now, how do we select programs for ROI analysis? Okay, I've already said one of the biggest misconceptions in training evaluation is the belief that every training program must have an ROI calculation. False, is wrong. Many HR and L&D professionals, you feel pressure to prove ROI for all your training investments. So I'm telling you now, as you're hearing my voice, please do not feel pressured. You are not to calculate ROI on all your training investment. At least you've gotten that today, right? Why? Because it is not best practice. It's not even best fit practice. Don't even think about it. It's not. What is the essence of evaluation? Evaluation is designed to be progressive. And that's why we talk about level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 data. It is designed to be progressive with deeper analysis, which is ROI, applied to fewer programs. If you already have the mindset of evaluating your programs, you see the change in your organization. Yes, between 5 to 10%. Yes, between 5 to 10%. So Bennett wrote something about how many percentage of the training of an organization. You'll see it very soon. Don't worry, it's between 5 to 10%. Okay. So if you have I think what you need to do is to create that mindset shift in your organization. Let everybody have an idea of, let us design our training in a way that can show we can apply it. There's impact, there's return on expectation, there's return on investment. If there's no application, you will not see impact. It's application that brings impact. So you need to design in a way whereby you can see, they can apply. Then from application, you can see impact. Impact is the result, the business result. And impact has to do with your business measures. So the impact could be on your productivity, on the organization's productivity. It could be on the revenue of the organization. It could be on your attrition rate. It could be on the expansion. So your impact is on your business measures, hard business measures. If your training is not targeting your business impact, HR, L&D, you're wasting time. It must touch, let it touch the business impact, touch the business, either directly or indirectly. Okay. Not every program should undergo ROI analysis. I've spoken about that. Not every program should undergo ROI analysis. So let's move further. Let's move faster now. So criteria for selection. So what are the criteria for you to select the programs that should get up to ROI, which is level 5? What are they? I don't know if I've listed. Okay, you still see the types of the levels of data. I'm sure I've listed it, but you still see it. The criteria for selection. I think Jack and Patty gave about 8 criteria, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But I'm going to give you just 6. They gave about 8 criteria, but I'll give you 6. One of the criteria is the importance of the program. How important is the program? Let me use, for instance, an organization that wants to send its staff to Harvard, maybe the senior management, or an organization that wants to develop their line managers to become great leaders. Let me put it like that. Maybe a program for leadership and all that. How important is the program? Is it something that is very, very key to the business that will help the business? So one is the importance of the program. The second thing is, how is the program linked to either problems or opportunities? The program must be linked to one of these. Either the program is being linked to a problem you're having in your organization, or an opportunity you want to cash on, you want to reach out, you want to get. So is there a link from the program to the opportunities or problems that the business is facing? The third thing is it linked to the strategic objectives? Is it linked to the strategic objective? The fourth, is management interested in the evaluation? If management is not interested, somehow you'll just be wasting your time, because nobody will look at it. Nobody will want to see what's the how far did you go with the evaluation? What's the return on investment? However, if management is interested, boom, that is an opportunity for you to hit gold mine. That is a very big opportunity for you. So is management interested in the evaluation? The next thing is the cost. What is the cost of the program? A program that is worth 1 million naira or 2 million. Why do you want to do ROI on that? So what is the cost of the program? How much is it? Is it very expensive? What's the cost of the program? Then the last thing is the validity of the program. How long is the program? Is it just for a short term? Is it a medium term? Is it a long term program? How long is it? So these are some of the criteria. Just like I said, this is from Jack and Patty, and they allowed me to make use of some of this of their material. So they gave 8 reasons. So I think I've given 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 reasons. So there are about 8 reasons, 8 criteria for selection of the program you want to calculate up to ROI. Now let's just quickly look at ROI calculation. Now get your biros and paper. Let's do this together, and get your calculator. Let me get my phone calculator. So you get your calculator. Let's just do this together. Now I told you that some organizations start with the BCR, which is the benefit cost ratio. Is there anybody that has an idea how to calculate BCR? Anybody? Okay, let me just continue, because you can as well, even though you don't have an idea, you can ask ChatGPT or check you check online. So let's go. How do you calculate BCR? BCR is benefit cost ratio. It's very clear. Using it, benefit, the cost, what's the ratio? That should even help you. Benefit, the benefit of the program, the cost. C, the cost of the program. Ratio is already telling you is division now. When you hear ratio, it's already division, BCR. So the program benefits divided by the program cost. That's what BCR is. Program benefit divided by the program cost. So let's use an example. A program that is what so please pardon me. I know all of you here are Nigerians, but because it's not just Nigerians that watch this video, we have people that join in from various parts of the world that watch it, and even people that join the webinar. I always use the dollars, because that's what cuts across a currency for means of exchange. Even between Nigeria and Kenya is dollars. Ghana even is dollars. Unless you get there, you now convert the dollars to shilling to their money. So let's use this. 750. So an organization did ran a training for their line managers, and they spent 325,000. Please note that down. They spent $325,000 that was the cost of the program that was run for the managers. It was a line manager leadership workshop. So that's $325,000. Now, the benefit of the program was, after that, they were able to find out the benefit. And the benefit of the program was $750. Now, what was the BCR? What would be the BCR? Anybody that is first, when you get it, let me calculate my own. So the benefit is $750,000, and the cost is $325,000. What is that? What would be the BCR? The first person to get it. Is there anybody, or am I the only one calculating here? Okay, no problem. So what you do is, we agree that, so what is the program benefit? $750,000, yeah, divided by the cost, the program cost, which is $325,000. When you divide that, we get 2:1 So 2.307, blah, 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 very number. So if you round up 7 to 1, that gives us 2.31. So meaning that the BCR is, okay, we've not gone. So the BCR is 2 is to 2.31 is to 1. What does it mean? For every $1 that the organization invested in that leadership workshop for their line managers, they got 2.31. Okay. They got 2.31. So for every dollar that was invested, every $1 that was invested, there was a benefit of 2.31 that they got in returns. Right? Good. So now let us calculate the ROI. How did you get your program benefits? Okay, Judith is asking, how did we get our program benefit? So how we got our program benefit is all those things I was talking about. Now, you need to start taking note, which is not what I want to teach today. I just wanted to introduce ROI. There are a lot of things you must put into consideration to get the benefit of your program. You put into consideration, and for you to first of all, okay, let's start. You put into consideration, let's say it is implants. Implant means the people came to your organization to do the training. You put into consideration even the time the people were spent, took out of the office. Hope you know that there's an amount for them not to be at work. There's an amount. That cost, you take note of that cost. You take note of the cost of maybe feeding. They paid for hall. They did for whatever all your costs, which is what we did, $325,000. Now our benefit is when all these things that they were able to apply, what came out of it. So we did it. Let's say for instance, we did the program for 3 months, and after 3 months we found out that we spent 325. Maybe as a result of what we found out, let's look at the maybe using the metric productivity. Now, the productivity increased and we quantified that to money. Don't forget what I'm saying. You must quantify it to money. Money. So not say, oh, we saw people are using the skills. So what? If they are using the skills, so what? To a CFO, you will tell you, so what? What is that using the skills into money? So all those things must be quantified to money. And so there's a calculation for all of that. So if you want to learn more of this, we have a program. We're running a program. It's called the Mastermind. Sign up to the Mastermind. You will learn some of these things in the Mastermind. And also come and get certified. I've already done my certification in ROI too. So come and get certified. You will get more of this. You know. Okay. I hope that answers it a bit. So now let's look at ROI. ROI is so excuse me, is the net program benefits divided by the program cost. The net program benefit divided by program cost. How do you get the net program benefits? It is the program benefits minus the cost gives you the net. So let's do it together, everyone. So I said the net program benefit is the benefit minus the cost. So the benefit minus the cost is what? Our benefit is still 725,000 minus the cost. Our cost is still 325,000. No, 750. I'm sorry, please. Our benefit is 750,000 minus the cost 325,000. So our net program benefit is what? 425,000. Good. Divided by the program cost. What is our program cost? Our program cost is 325 divided by 325, yeah? Okay, times 100. That will give us 131%. So it's 130 points. So wrap it up to 131. So 131%. So meaning that for every dollar that was invested, you get back your dollar back and you get back 31 cents upon it. So you get an interest, you get something back on what was invested. So you get your dollar back. So excuse me, you get your dollar back plus an additional $1.31. Benedicta. Okay, Benne, please. I can see Benne's hand up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I just
You're
wanted to share. I'm
welcome.
so sorry, my network has been bad. I've been going in and
No, it's
out.
okay. It's
So
okay.
I just wanted to share, just to affirm what we're doing right now. Like for me, after attending the mastermind program where I'd learned how to calculate ROI and even ROE, my one of the trainings we did last year for our ICT team, they did a cloud AWS cloud training. And then this year, when we're not trying to look at to calculate the ROI, we engaged them, and the manager told us that the three people in the team that went for that training last year, and what they learned, they were able to apply it. So they did a migration to cloud. So ordinarily they would have gone to get a vendor to do that migration for us. But he said that because of that training, because he recommended that training for them, because of that training they attended, it was even an online training. Because of that training they attended, the team by themselves were able to do that migration. And this is like some months after. And that was how I'm just trying to say today to you to, I mean, reaffirm what you're saying, that these things can be calculated. That is for me, so to speak, that's like the first time, because usually nobody's asking, nobody, like you said, nobody's bothering. We're just, I mean, rolling out the trainings and running the trainings and getting the happy sheets. But going further, having learned this in the mastermind, I mean, going further, I can say that at least I've done one since completing the mastermind program early this year.
Thank you so much, Bennett. Thank you for reaffirming that. It's I see your question confidence. I would respond to that. Thank you so much for confirming that. It's really I how am I going to put it? I don't want to blow my trumpet, but this is something we've been doing we got interested in this since 2010, just like I said, and we've been tweaking. We've not been we got some things wrong. We went back, tweaked it, researched, worked with clients, got it right. We are still even improving. Why I'm working with Jack is that this is something Jack has tested for 30 something years. So based on some of the things they've done is what we've done. And so now we are even pushing and testing our own. So for someone that's done something for 30 something years, for crying out loud, he has so much case studies, so many case studies. I have my book. If I see okay, because of you will not be able to see this. Yeah, so this is my book. We have books of case studies. This is a book of case studies of those that did ROI for their training program, for their various projects, and they are saying this is really working. So you can calculate and you can evaluate up to ROI for any training. You can. It's not impossible. It's just for you to get it, define it well. So even for the ROI methodology, there's a process for the methodology. And that's not what I'm teaching here. I want you to get that right. I'm not teaching Jack and Patty's RI method because it's a whole process. We have what we call the 12 guiding principles. We have the 6 levels of data. So it's a whole process. I went through all that process and it took me 10 days doing of class. So no, what I'm just affirming is because I believe in ROI. So when I teach my our design, which is a mastermind, which is a design process to ensure you see impact, ROI and ROI. And so I'm encouraging you that as you design well, you can see ROI. That's just what this webinar is all about. So thank you so much for that, Bene, for affirming that. So what's the reality? So this is the reality. In selecting training programs for impact or ROI analysis, this is the reality. For level 1, which is reaction data, we call it reaction data. The best practice is that collect up to 90 to 100%, do for all your programs, do level 1. Take reaction data, evaluate up to reaction data. Take it level 1. 90 to 100%, but I'll say do 100, all your programs. Make sure you do level 1 at least. And I'm sure you know what level 1 data is. Level 2, which is learning. The best practice is 60 to 90%. So for those that may not know, okay, let me just quickly explain what is level 1 data. Or I guess you should know. I'm looking at time. We are running out of time. Let me stop. You should know as HR and L&D. There's no time. I have just less than 5 minutes to wrap up. Level 1 data, do 90 to 100%. Level 2 data, 60 to 90%. Level 3 data, which is the application data implementation, do 30 to 40% of it. Level 4 data, which is impact, 10 to 20%. Then level 5, which is the ROI I talked about. This is 5 to 10% of your programs is what you take up to ROI, 5 to 10%. You have violate up to just 5 to 10% of your program. So for instance, if you're running 200 programs in a year, so 10% of 200 is just 20, is 20 if I'm not mistaken. So only out of 200 programs, 20 should be evaluated up to ROI. And don't forget the criteria I showed you that we use. Then for impact, 10 to 20%. But so what I teach in the mastermind is if you're able to design and create a culture of people thinking about training, measuring, evaluating it, thinking about application, impact, you would always see people ensure, even without you evaluating, you see people trying to ensure that training is applied. What they've learned, the knowledge and the skills they've learned, they've come back to apply it. You will see it in your organization. So it is creating the awareness. You must create the awareness. An organizational awareness of training is not just a tick in the box. No more. Let us stop wasting organizations' money. Training is not just a tick in the box. Training should add value to the business. Training should add value to the business. There should be an impact for training. The training we send our people to, there should be a return for it. Let's see it happening. So this is in selecting deciding what programs should be evaluate up to ROI or impact. This is data that you use to do it. Okay, then last but I think I should be wrapping up. I'm wrapping up, please. I got this from Jack, and I'll just quickly talk about this. I'm not going to go a whole lot in it. Jack said something. He said, create a measurement ecosystem. Jack and Patty, they said, create a measurement ecosystem. So HR, this is our strategy. Assess the situation, meaning that you have an ecosystem where people are thinking about measurements. You're finding the cause, you're analyzing it at maturity, analyzing the maturity. Should we evaluate? At what level should we evaluate? You're defining what approach should we take? You're executing, you're integrating the results, you're investing and evaluating, and the circle continues. So this was at a board, the conference board human capital analytics research working group. This was this thing Jack went for, and they talked about it. The report said that organizations must have an ecosystem supportive of human capital analytics implementation in order to fully integrate and sustain the practice. So for you to be able to sustain the practice of measurement and evaluation, you must have an ecosystem for that. And that's why I said everyone must be on board. For the mastermind, we called it the ecosystem, the 6 components that make up the ecosystem. We have an ecosystem that will help you to see ROI and ROE, and there are 6 of them. Please watch our video to be able to see that. And lastly, I will always say ROI, all road leads, and this is what Jack and Patty usually say, all road leads to ROI. Every road is leading to return on investment. And in conclusion, I will say old ways won't open new doors. Old ways never open new doors. ROI is not the starting point of evaluation. It is the final stage. You must do something, and that's something you must do is the design, which is what the mastermind teaches. It teaches you how to design your training from pre, during, and post, the 3 stages of training. Design your training in a way that you would see return on investment. You will see. If you don't design it, you will not see it. So what I'm preaching is, even for you to see ROE or ROI, it starts from the beginning. Stevie Covey always said, start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. It starts from your design. How are you designing? So how are you designing? So organizations attempt that attempt to calculate ROI for every program often miss the real purpose of evaluation. I've talked about that. Jack will always say, and Patty, they will always say, ROI is for improvement. Even if you get a negative ROI, what is it saying to you? So what did you do wrong? What should you improve? So ROI is about improving. And that's why I said create a measurement system whereby you keep. So if you get a negative ROI, please don't feel bad. Yeah, don't feel bad. It's telling you, how can I improve? What can I do better? So the goal is to ensure that training leads to application, performance, improvement, and measurable impact. It's the goal of evaluation. That's the goal. So when those elements are in place, ROI becomes a meaningful and credible indicator of value. And in conclusion, the problem in most organizations is not the absence of ROI. The real problem is that training was never designed for impact in the first place. What I just said. Training was never designed to see, because if you don't see impact, you cannot see ROI. You must see impact to see ROI. So you need to design in a way that you'll be able to see impact in order to get ROI. You can't. If you don't apply, you cannot see impact. I hope you know that. You have to apply to be able to see impact in order to be able to calculate ROI. So if you don't design well, you will not see application, neither will you see impact, not to talk of this seeing ROI. You will not see it. You cannot manufacture it. This one is not about prayer. You cannot pray about this. It is what you should do. And that's my quote. And so once help, let us talk about how we can help you to build or repair your ecosystem. We can work with you to build an ecosystem whereby you'll be able to design to see impact, see people applying it, see impact, see return on investment, and see return on expectation. You can join our mastermind course too. I know, Florence, confidence, you asked about that. So when I end this, I will talk about that. I will stop sharing and talk about that. Join our mastermind course too. Invite me to speak with your leadership team. Reach out. Let us stop training for the sake of training. Let us build for transfer. Let us build for transformation. And so this is the mastermind. So the mastermind is a 14-week journey to transform your role from HR L&D professionals to a strategic business partner. So I'm going to talk more about that. I just want to just finish this. Then we have our conference. The first conference ever is called the International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference. The first world conference ever on return on investment and return on expectation, showing businesses how to avoid training scrap. We did it last year. It was a success. And this year, our 2.0 is going to be on technology, practice, and impact. Make sure you don't miss it. November 12th and 13th at the Lagos Oriental Hotel in Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. And you can also join virtually. So it's a hybrid conference. Now, what are your questions? So let me answer Florence confidence question now. How can you join the mastermind? So just drop your email address and your phone number. We'll reach out to you. We'll call you tomorrow and tell you how to join, and tell you what the cost is, what you need to do, the business measures you need to come with. We'll just tell you everything you need to know. So on the chat box, drop your email address and drop your phone number, and we will reach out to you on how to join the mastermind. Call 2 is starting on Monday, which is March 9. However, if you're unable to meet up with Call 2, maybe because you didn't plan about it, so you don't have the money yet, you can join Call 3. Call 3 starts in April next month. Call 4 starts in June, and Call 5 starts in Call 4 starts in June, yes. Call 5 starts in August. Then Call 6 starts in October. Call 6 starts in October. So we have 5 cohorts. We have 5 cohorts this year. So you can join any of those cohorts. Lastly, a call to action. What will be your next line of action from everything you've learned? What will be your next line of action? What will be your next line of action from everything you've learned? Please, no more excuses. Results, no more excuses. Let's stop giving excuses. You want to make the money for your organization, even for yourself. Stop excuses. Results. Success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? I have paid the price. I'm still paying the price. If you're ready to pay the price, let's join the bandwagon. Let's pay the price for success, because it is not cheap. Finally, be happy and feel good about yourself always. And so thank you once again for joining me. And this is me. I'm known as the Oracle. I'm a coach, a certified coach. I'm known as Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. That's my contact details, my LinkedIn, Instagram, my email address, the company email address, and our website. You can reach out to us. So let me stop sharing. Thank you so much. And if there are no questions, I just want to say thank you for joining us here. And you're welcome, Benedicta. And Confidence, we have your details, and so we will get in touch with you by tomorrow. And so please, we wish you all the best. Keep doing what you need to do and do it well, and become the strategic HR person you should be. And don't allow them to spoil our name, HR and L&D. We are strategic. Don't let them give you a seat at the table. Yeah, let them give you a seat at the table. Let them not be looking at you outside. You're a strategic person. Don't be another taker. Be a strategic person. And so I wish you all the best. Look forward to seeing you again, same time next week, Thursday. Tell a friend, tell them to come, tell them to join. This is a webinar that is transforming organizations and transforming individuals. And you're welcome. Thank you, Confidence. You're welcome. Good night, everyone. Bye.